Heather Du Plessis-allan Drive, weekdays from 4 on Newstalk ZB.
If you're like me and you're never really sure about the financial competency of the people elected to council, next week is going to be a big test for us. Because over the next week, the council of the country's biggest city, so presumably some of the brightest councillors that we have in this country, purely because there are more people to choose from than in other catchments, those councillors are going to decide, and then they're going to vote on whether they will sell Auckland Council's airport shares. Now, you do not need a university degree to tell you Auckland needs to sell its airport shares. And yet there are apparently 12 councillors who don't want to do this, which beats the 9 councillors who do want to do this. So it's going to fail, and that doesn't make any sense. Because why would you keep paying $90 to $100 million in debt servicing every year so that you can own shares that return a dividend of $40 million in a year? And Auckland doesn't own enough shares, by the way, in the airport to have a seat on the board. 18% doesn't get you a say over what the airport does, so there's no point in owning it. And that ownership, by the way, is not going to get any better. It's only going to be more diluted when the airport goes to a capital raise at some stage. Now, probably much like you, I remember the lessons that we learned from the 80s. I don't like selling collectively held assets unless we absolutely have to. My first reaction was no when I heard that Wayne Brown first pitched the idea. But since then, I've seen the numbers and it's absolutely impossible to argue against. We absolutely have to sell this. We can put Auckland's money into a smarter asset. It absolutely sounds nice to own a fifth of the airport, but nice doesn't pay the bills. I'll tell you what does pay the bills. Pushing up your rates pays the bills. Or really deep cuts to things that some of those councillors care about, like money for homeless people or Citizens Advice Bureau. That pays the bills. So you and I know there is no money tree. The books have got to balance. So let's see if Auckland councillors know that as well. The next week is going to be very telling.
Heather Du Plessis-allan Drive, weekdays from 4 on Newstalk ZB.